You wake up one morning and everything is gone. Your job, your savings, your sense of control. Most people would panic. But what if losing everything was the moment you became unstoppable? This isn't a motivational quote. It's the origin story of one of the most powerful ideas in human history, an idea forged not in comfort, but in catastrophe. This is the story of Stoicism, the ancient mindset built for modern chaos. The birth of a warrior philosophy. It began not in a temple, but in a shipwreck. Zeno of Citium was a wealthy merchant until the sea took everything. Stranded in Athens, broke and directionless, he stumbled into a bookstore where a single scroll about Socrates changed the course of his life. Instead of chasing what he lost, Zeno sought what he could control: his mind, his emotions, his character. He began studying with the greatest philosophers of the day, eventually teaching his own students on a public porch, the Stoa, and from that porch, Stoicism was born. Today, we call someone stoic if they show no emotion. But the original Stoics weren't robots. They didn't suppress emotion, they mastered it. Stoicism wasn't about being cold. It was about being clear. Clear about what's in your control. Clear about what truly matters. And that clarity came from 4 virtues. The 4 virtues that build inner armor. 1. Wisdom. Not book smarts, but practical insight, the ability to respond, not react. 2. Temperance, the quiet power of self-restraint, to not be a slave to impulse or pleasure. 3. Justice, treating others with dignity, not because they earned it, but because you have dignity. 4. Courage, not just in war, but in heartbreak, in loss, in truth-telling when silence is safer. These 4 were the bedrock of the Stoic life, a code not for priests, but for warriors in the battlefield of everyday life. Tested by fire, Stoics in history. One of the most famous Stoics wasn't a philosopher. He was the ruler of the world. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor, spent years leading troops through plague and war. He wrote his thoughts down, not for us, but for himself. His Meditations, a journal never meant for the public, became a timeless blueprint for resilience. Centuries later, Nelson Mandela read Meditations while imprisoned for 27 years. He emerged, not bitter, but focused. He forgave. He rebuilt. That's not weakness. That's Stoicism in action. What it means today. Control the inner world. In a world that tells you to chase likes, chase validation, chase success, modern science catches up. Modern psychology is just now catching up to what Stoics taught centuries ago. Cognitive behavioral therapy, one of the most effective treatments for anxiety and depression, is directly inspired by Stoic thought. Epictetus once said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view they take of them." Today, therapists call that reframing. Stoics just called it living. Reflective and empowering. You don't need perfect circumstances, you don't need everyone to like you, you don't need guarantees, you need this: the courage to accept reality, the wisdom to act with clarity, the self-control to respond with dignity. Because storms will come, but if you live like a Stoic, you are the storm. If this resonated with you, subscribe, not just for more philosophy, but for real tools to build your mind like a fortress, because the world is loud, but the strongest minds stay silent and steady.